What book are you reading right now?
There's a book called Data Juice by, here it is, Doug Laney. And this is a really cool one because it's 101 stories of actual customers.
Recently read a book about Sakakawea. I think a lot of folks know about her role. And then the book that I have right now that I'm reading is about building earth lodges. And it is amazing the work that the women did as they built earth lodges in these tribal communities. Besides that, I have another book that I'm queued up to read. It's about predictability, and I serve on the state investment board as the chair. So our chief investment officer recommended that, and that's a book I'm very interested in reading too next.
I actually get through a lot of books, and the two books I'm reading right now, nonfiction book is Theodore Rex, the second book in I think there were three of them, written about Teddy Roosevelt. It's a 1,000-page book, small print, so it's going to take me a long time to read it. And the fiction book is called The Great Fire. It's by an Australian author, Shirley Hazard.
Tim Ferriss, 4 Hour Work Week, which I've owned for a long time, and it was on the shelf behind the desk. And even though I have the hard copy, it's a little thick, but it's incredible.
Two books that recently I've been kind of going through again are Waterloo by Bernard Cornwell and Vienna 1814 by a guy named David King.
I'm reading two books. One is called Two Like the Lightning. That is by, the author is Ada Palmer. She's a professor at the University of Chicago, a historian. The other book I'm reading is The Creative Act, A Way of Being. So I'm trying to be a writer, and writers are artists, writers are creative. And this is by Rick Rubin, who is a very famous musical producer, starting with rap.
So exactly, I just bought a few weeks ago, there's a book called Filter World. I just started reading it. It's about how we're living in the world where everything's algorithms, and it's basically flattened the culture. The title is very intriguing, so I bought it. I just read a few chapters. But there's always a few books that I always keep reading. I mentioned about Simon Sinek. I continue to always, time to time, come back to that book and read again and read again and read again. There's a few books of that. And then obviously the Build to Last. That's one of my favorite books that I've been reading 3 times now in the last 2 years.
I'm currently reading a book, it's called With the Old Breed by E.J. Sledge. It's about being a Marine in World War II during the 1944-45 campaigns of Pelew and Saipan.
As I said, I'm repeating 6th grade, so I just finished Beowulf, and I am now reading MOUSETRAP by Agatha Christie. It's a play that she wrote.
I just finished The Coddling of the American Mind, which I don't like to get political and talk about things that are in transition. And I think as you get older, you may move. Many people in this country go from, liberal to a little bit more conservative. And this is a book that sort of is in that transition.
So influencing powerful people. And then the second one is, and the title is, I think, a little misleading. It's called Great CEOs Are Lazy. And again, I don't consider myself a lazy person, but what it's reinforcing for me is some of the things we're talking about here of letting go.
Right now, I am reading Ghost Fleet, which is a sort of a futuristic sci-fi novel. It's a bestseller from 2015. So it's a pretty fun book. So I'm trying to read books that are similar to mine so I can talk about them intelligently with agents.
There are 2 books that I'm reading right now. One is the relationship between US and China and the risk of war between the countries. So that's one. And the other one, I'm reading about a boy that escaped Auschwitz to warn the world about the horrors that have taken place there.
Called Churchill Style, and it's Churchill Style, and it's the art of being Winston Churchill, written by a guy named Barry Singer, who owns a bookshop dedicated to Winston Churchill here in New York. The other book that I'm reading right now is called 2034. It's written by a guy named Admiral James Stavridis, who is the Supreme Allied Commander of NATO.
I just finished Tom Siebel's book on digital transformation, which I would recommend to anybody. It cuts through all the BS so people can figure it out. I have just started Perceptrons, which is Lansky's book, and I'm back into my map again because it starts off with Monte Carlo simulation and it's driving into all.
The 7 habits of highly effective people, 15 secrets, successful people, brain energy, deep work. I love this book. Do you know Deep Work by Cal Newport? has impacted me in a big, big way. Love 2.0, Making Hope Happen, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and the like. So those are the books that I'm diving into right now.